Before we begin, thank you very much to the Transformers. It's Christmas, so what? For joining the Patreon campaign. I was requested to sing that in the cadence of the old theme song. I attempted my best. Thank you very much for pitching in. Thank you for the contribution. So, this is the yearly video that I try to make, and I do it in protest, because I always feel bad about making this video, but everyone seems to want me to do it every year, so yeah, we're gonna do it again. Once again, much to my protest, we are going to be looking at my Christmas haul for the year. So, I don't like doing this because my Christmases tend to be a lot bigger than most people. For those who are new to the channel and haven't seen one of these haul videos before, something to keep in mind here is I have a very, very large family. Many, many uncles, aunts, cousins, etc. And I also have a lot of respect in the family because I took care of my grandmother for well over a decade. So their appreciation is shown to me by Christmas time, where they all kind of gang up on my Amazon list. This year was a little weird, though. Things went wrong this year because the fact is I haven't been updating my Amazon page. I have not been updating my wish list on Amazon in years because I have my throne. Like, if anyone wants to get me a gift, I have a throne link for that. And that's the list that I have been populating with things I'm okay with people sending me. I have not touched my Amazon list in a long time. So some of the family got the old list because they still had the links. Some of the family I had to make a new list for, and then a lot of wires got crossed. I ended up with a lot more than anyone actually expected. Let's put it that way. So this is another one where I just kind of feel like, this is too much. But you usually want to see it, so we're gonna go over it. We're gonna go over it. First off, starting outside of the family, my DM for Dungeons and Dragons showed up to the shop with this. It is a flat Michelangelo from BuildABear, because apparently the person selling it wanted me to come in and experience the actual like stuffing process, because they kind of make a little ceremony out of it. They thought he was buying it for a kid. And the funny part about this is I can't actually take it down to BuildABear and get it stuffed until I have the receipt proving that the stuffing part of it was also purchased. So I don't really have a way of fluffing him up yet. Until I see my DM again, I have a flat Michelangelo. He also got me these, so I'm currently not in his campaign, but I am currently playing a wizard whose gimmick is all in cards and card shuffles, card games, etc. So we have a nice set of cards that are kind of magical, kind of fey, wild, kind of looking. He looked at the back side and decided this is the kind of deck your wizard would use, right? I'm like, yeah, actually, yeah, this is nice and flashy. That's very much his style. He didn't look at the art on the actual cards. Now, the faces of the cards are unique on every single card. And the suits all seem to have a theme. So, for instance, on the clubs, it all seems to be, all of it is like European painted advertising. So, a lot of it, like on the clubs, it's all Perrier water ads. On the diamond, I think it's the diamonds, it doesn't matter. But on another suit, it's all a shoe company. On another one, it is all some kind of orange soda brand. It's like a deck that's based on just like the art style of one particular artist and all these different advertisements that he or she has painted over the years. And then you get to the last one, which is the spades, and the spades is where he put all of his miscellaneous advertisement painting, and those are usually of topless women. Again, not out of character for my wizard, but also making a very strange Christmas present. but it's thoughtful at least. Even the Ninja Turtles is inspired by my Turtle Barbarian, which is which is another character he is in game with. Yes, weird set of gifts, but I'm very appreciative of it. Okay, so as for what the family got me, we're gonna start small. We're gonna work our way up. So we start with this. So Kaimonono is a very cheap monster movie out of Japan. The guy on the cover is Kota Ibushi, and it's basically pro wrestlers battling a giant monster on a big city set. And the monster's also performing wrestling moves. They're using skyscrapers as like turnbuckles to jump off of. It's a very dumb movie. But it's a very dumb, fun movie. And they don't make them out, like, they don't put makeup or costumes on them to disguise who they are. It's absolutely, it's absolutely the wrestlers. So it's just super cheesy fun. So that's added to the Blu-rays collection, which I don't get many Blu-rays, but that goes in. Another random one. I'm going to intersperse the random ones here, just kind of break it up a little bit. But we got this as well. Slayers being my favorite anime. We have the two essentially light novel collections for well, number 1 and number 3. I actually found number 2 last year when I was out on the opposite coast at an anime shop. I found it on sale, so okay, might as well. It's Slayers, of course. I love me some Slayers. Never got around to 1 and 2, so now I have 1 and 3. So now I have the complete volume. Now I need time to be able to sit down and read it, because I don't have the time to read anything. But still, I now have that set, so the option is available to me. And it's very little Slayers merchandise out there, so I'm happy to get any of it. Let's move in. As long as we're in the fantasy realm here, let's move into the Dungeons & Dragons gets for the year. For starters, we do have 2 new sets of metal dice joining the collection. The ones on the right are just gorgeous, like the gold trim, the green, and there's dragons sculpted into the faces. I mean, that's literally like everything. That's all me. That's so much me. Like that is a go-to dice set. The ones on the left, on the other hand, are color change. If they are in your hand long enough, or if you blow into your hand before you roll, they get hot enough to actually change from black to red, which I think is a super cool little trick. Yeah, you can see the D20 there, a little bit brighter than the others. They get brighter. The D20s get darker if it's cold. It's Florida, so it's not that cold. So those get added into the Goblin Horde of Dice, along with 2 more books, Tyranny of Dragons and the Mythic Odyssey of Theros. The Dragons book is just, me and dragons again. And it's evil dragons. So we're looking at Tiamat, and the queen of evil dragons. I am looking forward to perusing that one. And I know, like, this is... Don't at me. I still prefer the books over the digital. And then Theros, I'm actually kind of shocked that I didn't have already, because it's all Greek mythology based, and I love Greek mythology. So that's one that I'm kind of shocked has not been in my collection yet. So 2 more campaign books. Looking forward to those. I'm gonna try my hand at DMing next year. So any kind of resource I can pick up helps me in that. To wrap up D&D, however, we do have one thing on the toy front, which is Xanathar. I'm disappointed that Dungeons & Dragons, like the movie, didn't do well. But I am thankful that they attempted the movie, because it let them get away with doing a ton of toys they otherwise wouldn't. And a big action figure of Xanathar is one of them. I say action figure. He's a mad ball. He's just a mad ball. But it is like the beholder for Dungeons and Dragons, so it's kind of cool to have. Just a big old meatball of plastic just to sit somewhere on my desk. The funny thing would be to use him in an actual game, because he's way bigger than an actual Beholder miniature is. So if I want to fight a gargantuan Beholder at some point and scare everyone at the table, this would be the one to get. Let's move into the other gaming realm. Just for a minute, we'll pop in, pop out, and then pop back in again. So Mega Man made a brief appearance under the table, under the tree this year. First off, a nanoblock set of Mega Man figures, super tiny little building block sets of various Mega Man characters. All 6 are in there. It's just one big sealed box of all 6. Anything Mega Man I can get my hands on. Anything Mega Man I can get my hands on makes me happy. Including the micro player on the right. I thought that would be fun to just have down at the shop. At some point, I want a Steam Deck or an emulation handheld box that I can have at the shop just to kind of play games in between customers. Just kind of like a handheld retro machine still. And there's options out there. I just haven't taken the plunge. But this one is one above board. But also, I just really like the little, I like the little arcade cabinet aesthetic. I can't promise I'm going to be any good with that tiny little joystick, but I'm going to try. Probably when I finish this video, I'm going to bust that open first and see how that works. Another blue gaming icon that appeared. This Lego set for Sonic the Hedgehog, and I've been eyeballing all the new Sonic sets they've been doing. And just thinking to myself, I really don't want to start this, because this will be difficult to pull myself out of. Also, I don't really have room for a lot of Lego sets. I've got several Lego sets that I have not built yet, because I just don't have the space to put them out. And then this one happens. The benefit to this one is that it's not a very deep set. It's basically like a facade, almost. It's very thin. So this one wouldn't take up too much space if I can find a spot somewhere on a shelf for it. I'm sure there's going to be one at some point. I've been meaning to take some of the shelving down, like some of the displays, and put up new things. So that's probably what's going to happen at some point. But no, yeah, now I know the other ones come out. You can get Knuckles, Tails, Amy, various incarnations of Sonic and Robotnik, or Eggman, if you prefer. Not the only Lego set that was under the tree this year, though. I also got my hands on the Tranquil Garden. I saw this at Target like a month ago, and like almost, not even a month ago, like earlier this month. I almost bit so hard on this. Aside from just, it's just a beautiful little set. Like, it's, of course, it's the Japanese aesthetic I like so much. And one of the unbuilt Lego kits that I have is the bonsai tree, which this would go perfectly with if I just had one little shelf where I could just display this, these little beautiful things. Yeah, I was really happy to find this one under the tree. Like, I try not to get Lego anymore because, again, space, but it's so pretty. It's so unique. So yeah, now I'm figuring out desk space, shelf space, some kind of space, because I want to build the I want to build the Tranquil Garden. I want to build I want to build the bonsai tree to go with it. This is nice little peaceful set, Sticking to Japan for just a minute though. There would be remiss if there wasn't a little bit of Kamen Rider to go with all of this. We get a little bit from Gotchard. I did get a booster box from Phase 2. I still haven't gotten all the cards I wanted from Phase 1. I don't even have an Agito card. How weird is that? But I actually think the dumb card gun is kind of fun looking, so I wanted to get a hold of that too. I think when I made the Amazon list, I didn't see any listings for like I looked at the... No, I take that back. I think I could find the Legend Driver. I just didn't like the Legend Driver. Because there's this weird amalgamation of a Deca driver and the Beast driver, and I didn't like how it functioned. So that one, I'm low on Gotchard. So we'll see, because I know we're getting into extra riders on that show. We'll see how that turns out. I'm way behind on it. Like what happens to me with every Kamen Rider, I get way behind on it. But the toys still look like a lot of fun. So, and then, yeah, I'm really eager to get a hold of the, open up the cards and see what new combos I can make. Here's another one of those random ones, just kind of break up the theme and keep you guessing. So, I got 2 of the NECA gargoyles. Got Brooklyn and Hudson. I fell off on these. I have 3 of them. So, I've got, okay, who have I? I've got Goliath, Demona, and Bronx. But what came down to was display space, because for some reason, NECA decided they were all going to have these massive splayed out wings, which means putting them all in a display together is difficult. I don't know why they didn't all just come with the folded wings. Well, yes, I do. They wanted to bulk out and give you incentive to buy the human figures. And I think Lexington's on the small side. Bronx also came with wings. You get it. So I couldn't really display them. Like, even with 3, I couldn't display them. So what were my chances of getting the entire Manhattan clan? I guess I'm going to have to find out now, because that just leaves me with, at least 2 more to get. So we'll see how these go. I really did like the ones that I got before. I have no doubt I'm gonna like these as well. Hudson's the only one fully clothed, so he brings a different aesthetic. And Brooklyn was always my favorite. So all good here. All good here. Speaking of things I dropped off on, I had a let's see. Santa brought me a 4 set of amiibo. I missed out on these when they first came out, and my local retro shop, I always eyeball the ones they have in stock, but they got way expensive, especially when Tears of the Kingdom came out, and now they still work with the new game. Now the demand got even more expensive, so I always kind of put them off. I figured, okay, I'll just bring some things to trade in for them someday. Then they just go ahead and remake them as a 4-pack, which makes it so much easier and so much more convenient. Yeah, for Amiibo, I used to try and collect just about all of it, especially the Smash Brothers. I was buying way too many characters I didn't care about for the sake of completing a set that would overall just, consume way too much time, money, and space. So we trimmed it down. The only amiibo I still collect and really go for, if I look over, I've got a few random ones. I do have a few random ones. Of course, I keep the Mega Man. But really, all I really collect out of amiibo now is I do get anything Metroid, anything Splatoon, and anything Zelda. So this fills a very large gap in my Zelda amiibo collection. It does mean I have to go get the other reissues from the Breath of the Wild, because I don't have my Bokoblin anymore, and I don't have my Guardian anymore. Guardian's kind of huge. I don't know if I want that back in my life. But no, really nice to have a full... Nice to know I can set up the Breath of the Wild cast now. That's going to look really nice. And keeping to the gaming thing, we'll stick to gaming a little bit longer here. Here are the Switch games for the year added to my collection. Kind of an interesting little batch here. And technically not complete. So, for starters, yeah, Dragon Quest Builders 2, you put fantasy RPG in any building mechanic, and I'm going to be down for that. I heard some disappointment with the game, the building aspect was kind of limited, but it's still going to hook me in. I just like to build in games. Neo, The World Ends With You. I played the original and liked the original. So I really wanted to try out the second one. I know Square Enix JRPG, that's going to be a time sink. So it might be a while before I get around to that one. Sonic Superstars, on the other hand, I'm probably going to pick up and play sometime today, because it's a very easy, just pick up and start playing kind of game. I like the retro style to it. I like Playable Amy. Playable Amy always makes things nice. And, I've heard good things. I still have Sonic Frontiers I haven't finished either. I've been very, very bad when it comes to video games lately. I still need to finish Tears of the Kingdom, still need to finish Armored Core. I'm getting bad at this. And then Pikmin 3 Deluxe. that's been on my list for a hot minute, and no one really got it for me until this year. I played the demo. I actually streamed me playing the demo of Pikmin. I had never played anything Pikmin before, and I actually really liked it a lot more than I expected to. I know Pikmin 4 is a thing now, but Pikmin 3 also a really good game. So I wanted to dip my toes in it again. So that's going to be a fun one to pick up and play at some point. All right. Let's move into equipment now, because some of my equipment is starting to show its age and is in need of replacement. And that goes for, well, something I'm using right now as well. So for starters, the microphone I'm currently using, this silver microphone right here, that microphone is 10 years old, and it still works. I mean, obviously, it still works, because you can hear me right now. But it is developing some gremlins. Every now and then, the USB socket on it does not work. I have to plug it in and out a few times before it actually registers on the PC. And audio has been a little bit like sometimes my audio can get inconsistent on it too. So it's showing its age. So time to replace and upgrade a little bit. This is a Blue Yeti X that you see on the left. A little bit more fully featured, a little bit more streamlined. That's, you know, so we're gonna go a little bit better. I don't want a super complicated one. I don't want like the mixing board and the conversion box and all of that just to get slightly better audio than what I've got now. I just want a really nice USB mic, and guess what? When I do the research, it's still the Yeti. It's still the Yeti if you want it to be USB. And then a new set of headphones, because frankly, yeah, these are not what they used to be. So I got these for Christmas one year too, and it's one of the best things I ever got, because like the freedom of not having a wire on my headset, I hadn't known before then. It's wonderful. I'm not going back, but they are forcing me to switch out. I don't know if you can see it on my webcam, but all of the material, all the vinyl coating that was on the soft pads, 98% of it's gone. That white bar you see there, that used to be red. That used to be red. And it's all gone from the ear pads as well. These also aren't noise canceling, so I actually wanted to have noise canceling as a feature on a set of headphones. So yeah, time for a new upgrade. Time to retire these. Yeah, and that's stuff where like I kind of depend on it to do what I do. So if it comes time for a replacement, I don't want to wait until it's broken. Once it starts showing signs that it's time, then I just need to go ahead, rip the Band-Aid, and get the new one. So thankfully my family helped me out with that. And they also went big on my equipment, because they're always big on helping me with my content, with my equipment needs. So this also showed up. This is the biggest hard drive I've ever owned. I think my current PC has fewer terabytes than this one hard drive does. If you have a content creator in your life and you don't know what to get them storage space. I don't care if you're getting them a new internal hard drive or an external hard drive. I don't care if you get them an SD card, for all I care. Content creators always need more storage capacity, especially if you're streamers and you want to have a lot of games installed at one time. You seen the installs to some of these games now? Like, I look at this 18 terabyte and go, man, that's going to take forever to fill up. And then I think of like, there's like 200 gigabyte install games now. And now I'm thinking like, oh, maybe not. So that's going to come in huge handy. Let's see. Let's go back into toys. And we're going to the end, so it's time for Transformer and Transformer Adjacent. See, the truth is, in order to keep up with my channel, as well as just because, you know, I can afford it, I buy pretty much all the Transformers that come out as they come out. So when it comes time for birthday and Christmas, I kind of have to come up with alternatives for people to get me, so I still have some kind of transforming robot to enjoy. and Beast Box fills that really, really nicely. So, Lotus and Bullet, I mean, already, like, I'm not sure why, like, I'm in this, like, pink lavender bug zone with these particular choices, but I don't mind them. They look really nice. Lotus is a retool of Reaper, the other Mantis, so I'm not objecting to having more Mantis toys in my life. Yeah, and then Bullet just looks really, really pretty. And then below, we have two Mega Box, Acteon and Edemian and Acteon. I don't know how to pronounce these. I'm going to stop trying right now. Suffice to say, they both turn into very cool space vehicles. They both turn into cubes, and then they combine into a big space robot. And they're quite a bit bigger than I expected them to be. Actually, looks bigger from outward than like a standard Beast Box is. But I think they still turn into the 2x2x2 cubes. So maybe not. But they certainly look sizable, and there's some of the ones I'm most excited to rip into once I've recorded this video. Now, proper Transformer stuff. We do proper Transformer stuff. Again, there's not much I don't get myself, so we kind of have to go to outside options. Things like flame toys. So here is a Bumblebee model kit that has, again, been on my list for years. Never really got. Ironically enough, I almost bought this one time when me and my girlfriend went to Epcot, because for some reason Japan World had it available. They also wanted like $20 more than it was going for at the time, so that's why I never had it before now. I do have a few of these Flame Toys kits floating around. I've got two evil versions of Optimus Prime. I was always waiting for them to do Shattered Glass or Nemesis as one of the other molds, and they didn't, so now I've got this one. So now I've got both of those in the same, like super anime style they did. And then I think I've got a couple others too. Yeah, I've got the Lio Convoy. Someone got me the Lio Convoy for my birthday, and I still have not had a chance to put it together, so I've got a lot to build. For Transformers that have already been built for me, these two polar opposites. I never got around to Exhaust. I don't know why. So, cool to add him to my mercenaries. I need to dig out Double Dealer and Bug Bite to go with him. It was also fun because my dad's a car guy and a race guy. So, explaining to him why Exhaust exists was kind of fun. Also, yeah, Trailbreaker. I've not been dipping into masterpieces very much. Shoddy quality, character selection that I'm not a fan of. But I really like me a Trailbreaker, and I've eyeballed many a third-party Trailbreaker. So, for now, this'll do. It still looks really, really good. It still looks like it's going to be a nice representation of one of my favorite 84 Autobots. And he's not alone, because family members go crazy and do things like Masterpiece Seekers. I have not experienced this particular version of the Masterpiece Seeker mold. And when Hasbro did their last like 35% off sale, I really regretted not picking up Thundercracker during that sale. So now we're going to try it with Skywarp instead. If I wanted to just get one off, like if I have a choice of just like a one-off Seeker, I don't mind it being Skywarp because I like the color scheme on Skywarp so much. So it's one of those like easy go-tos. If I don't have that particular mold in any of the other characters, no, either Starscream and Starscream's not available. Yeah, Skywarp. It's going to be Skywarp. So toy-wise, that's pretty much the haul. There's one more thing, and this was like a last-minute surprise. Like, oh, well, we forgot we got this too type thing. Yeah, my family still does that too. So, yeah, you can see a little bit behind me. I do have that big Bonbu Lab 3D printer back there. Someone saw fit to guide me into the other realm of 3D printing. I now own a resin 3D printer. It is a basic model. It's a good beginner's model because I've never really used 3D printed resin before. It doesn't come with resin. I have to go order resin now in order to actually test this thing out. But I'm really excited for this. So for the people who don't know, The one behind me is plastic spools, so you're basically printing one line of plastic at a time. This uses a pool of resin and UV lasers to instantly cure the resin in place on each layer of whatever you're having it built, which means you end up with a very interesting, very cool looking figure that can actually produce much smaller detail and much smoother results than that one. When I print with that, even on smallest settings and components, that will still leave like layer lines. Like you can see where the string has been put together. This one, on the other hand, won't do that. At least not nearly as much from what I know. So like Dungeons & Dragons minis are great to do with a resin printer. There's a lot of like little stuff. Like I've been eyeballing things like I found someone online that does like retro game characters, like retro RPG characters from like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, etc. as 3D miniatures. And this is the perfect thing to actually render them if I actually want them as D&D size minis or little figurines too. So this is going to be a very exciting one to get into once I figure it out and once I've got everything equipped for it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is pretty much the haul for the year. It's a very large haul. I feel bad showing it off because I know so many other people don't get nearly as much as I do. I think it was just why, like when it comes time for me to get gifts for my friends, I always go big. Like if you're in my friend circles and you got something for Christmas from me, you got something substantial. I didn't go cheap on any of you. So I guess I get that from my family. I just spread it out amongst a lot of people. But that is me. And that is once again my Christmas video. Now I get to go open it all. I can't open it until I actually do the video. So thank you once again for everyone who watches. Thank you for everyone for making it an amazing year. I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much. And the year's not done. We've still got a week to go, and then the daily grind continues. Until then,
we parlay with the captain.
You would think a werecroc is going to listen to elvish rules of piracy.
Of course it would be the freaking elves that invented parlay.
I had to think of a quick replacement for the French.